Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Check with Tech, your guide to all things tech. I'm your host Yaseen Azzam, and let's get started, shall we? First things first, Nokia just announced their brand new phone, the Nokia 8.3 5G, and as you guessed it, it's going to be Nokia's first 5G phone. I've talked about this a while ago, but I really don't like the idea that nowadays phones must have the 5G in the name, because apparently it will make it more attractive. It just makes the name much longer. So I really don't like the fact that most phones right now with 5G have 5G in the name. I hope this changes soon. But let's get into the specs of the phone. Now, what does it have? It has a 6.81-inch display, the Snapdragon 765G, 6 to 8 gigs of RAM, and 64 to 128 gigs of storage. It has a 4500 mAh battery, and it has 4 cameras on the back, a 64 megapixel main sensor, a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle lens, a 2 megapixel macro lens, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor for portrait photos. This phone is set to go on sale later this summer, and it will be available starting at around $650. Now, it has been a while since Nokia first made a really hit phone, a phone that is considered a flagship killer. But yeah, it has been a while since that. I'm not sure when was the last time this happened. But yeah, Nokia's been kind of under the radar for some time. And till now, I'm still waiting if they're going to try to come back like the Motorola did with the Razr, which obviously failed. But yeah, I mean, Nokia wasted a lot of time just making either mid-range phones or really budget phones. Sony finally broke their silence when it comes to the PlayStation 5. A while ago, Sony unveiled the full specs of the new console. Okay, so what does it have? Well, the CPU contains 8 Zen 2 cores at 3.5 GHz with SMT, variable frequency. That's better than the PlayStation 4 with only 8 Jaguar cores at only 1.6 GHz, no variable frequency. The GPU, 10.8 teraflops, 36 control units at 2.23 GHz, variable frequency. And the PlayStation 4 used to be 1.84 teraflops, 18 control units at 800 MHz. For RAM, you have 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 RAM, and that's better than the PlayStation 4, which is an 8 gigabyte GDDR5. For memory bandwidth, on the PlayStation 5, you have 448 gigabytes per second, which is a huge upgrade from the PlayStation 4's 176. Internal storage starts at 825 gigabytes of SSD, which is better than the 500 on the 4. Okay, so now you're probably thinking, why does the CPU and the GPU have variable frequency? Well, for two main reasons. One, to cut on the power budget, and two, to keep the PlayStation 5 from overheating. In addition to that, Sony also announced that most of the games available on the PS4 will be backwards compatible on the PS5. I'm not sure why though not all of the games are available, but we'll hopefully see the reason when the PS5 launches later this year. It is time. Apple recently announced their new models for the iPad Pro and the MacBook Air. First, we'll start with the iPad because in my opinion it's the more interesting upgrade. I can say that Apple is definitely trying to compete with Microsoft for the 2-in-1 laptop champion, because this is almost similar to the Surface Pro. Okay, what does it have? Well, the iPad Pro comes in two sizes, 11-inch and 12.9-inch sizes. It has the new A12Z Bionic chip with an 8-core GPU. Apple even went ahead and said that it is more powerful than most Windows PC laptops. So they know that this thing is a beast in performance. Battery life is estimated at 10 hours, and it has both Wi-Fi and LTE variants, but it doesn't have 5G yet. It has a new camera system though. It has a wide and an ultra-wide camera and an extra LiDAR scanner for AR and depth for portrait mode. Both variants of the iPad come in silver and gray, 128 gigs to a terabyte of storage, and a new magnetic keyboard, which has a trackpad. Yes! For those of you who don't know, the iPad is one of the very rare gadgets or electronics that desperately need a cursor and a trackpad. Especially when Apple even launched iPad OS, it just needed it more. So it felt right that finally it is time for Apple to put in a trackpad at the keyboard. The problem is that increases the price. The keyboard is worth $299 for the 11-inch model and $349 for the 12.9-inch model. Yikes. Apart from that, they have what you expect from current iPad Pro models: high refresh rates, USB-C, good performance, of course. So yeah, they will ship in March 25th, and for some reason the Magic Keyboards will start shipping at the middle of May. Now let's get to the, no offense, less interesting MacBook Air upgrade. Okay, what's not so new? It has a 13-inch Retina display with True Tone, Touch ID, a Force Touch trackpad, 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports, the regular stereo speakers, and the T2 security chips. But what is new is mostly the graphics and the processors. Now you have Intel's latest 10th generation core processors with up to 1.2 GHz quad-core Core i7 with Turbo Boost, so that speeds it up to 3.8 GHz, which is actually theoretically 2 times faster than the previous generation. For graphics, you have the Intel Iris Plus, and that is supposed to make it 80% faster graphics performance. So overall, it's supposed to be a performance upgrade. Also, it has the new keyboard with the scissor mechanism that was first introduced in the 16-inch MacBook Pro, with 1mm of key travel and a new arrangement for the arrow keys. It has a starting price of $999 with 256 gigabytes of storage, and is available right now. Okay, the last topic we're going to talk about today is OnePlus's new logo. Yes, OnePlus thought that they needed something fresh, so OnePlus CEO Pete Lau said that the company would be changing up the visual identity. What we got was more than we expected, to be honest. Okay, imagine the old logo if you can. Yeah, right, the OnePlus name is stuck inside a red box. Yeah, remove that box, fill in the color of the OnePlus name, change the font, and make the plus in the actual logo bigger, and you have the new logo. I mean, I'm trying my best to describe it to you. It's almost exactly the same, but the plus on the box is bigger. OnePlus now doesn't have the box, and it has a different font. I'm not sure what font it is exactly yet, but yeah, and they're all bold. All of the letters are bold. And if you actually look closely, the one inside the box has the bottom line removed. And now for their famous slogan, the never settle. It's the same thing that happened to the original OnePlus logo. Yeah, that's it. You just have to remove the white box, fill in the color white, correct the capitalization, and there you go, you have it. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad idea. I mean, they just want to simplify their logo. They can do whatever they want. But yeah, you should definitely expect these new logos to come around. And if you were a little bit suspicious that they changed it, yeah, they did. And with that, we end this week's summary of everything that happened. Thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to listen to my other episodes. And don't be afraid to leave a review on Apple Podcasts. As always, this is Yaseen Azzam signing out. See you next weekend.